I would say that when it comes to the Judeo-Christian gods, when it comes to, Jesus, and when it comes to the belief in prophets and people like Muhammad, I'm pretty much a 10 out of 10 confident that those are not accurate, that those are not true interpretations of the world, that Yahweh is very much a man-made deity. When it comes to all the other deities that have been put forth by different religions, whether it's Thor or Apollo or Zeus, I'm pretty much a 10 out of 10 confident that they don't exist. Now, is it possible that there is some form of deity that we are either living in a simulation, that we are a brain in a vat, that there is, some sort of multiverse, and that there's some great entity outside of that, that's, maybe we're the byproduct of an explosion in a laboratory? I don't know. I don't know how I could prove it. I don't know how I could disprove it. For all intents and purposes, I live my life as though it's not the case, but I'm a seeker, and I'm kind of agnostic about those gods. But are they possible? I don't know. I don't know what the possibilities are in terms of physical possibilities outside of this universe, if there is even an outside of this universe. Like, that's not an easy question to answer. That's not a question that I think is even close to answered by physicists who've studied this for decades. So I'm not really in a position to answer it myself. But as far as the man-made ones, then I'm pretty confident that they don't exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say, I can't, unless you actually had communication from anything from outside the universe, I can't even imagine how you would live your life differently, even if we knew they existed.
Well, and that's the catch, is if you did have contact with something outside of this universe, how would we be in contact with it? Would it be through radio waves? Would it be through gravitational waves? How would we have any indication that it's not a part of this universe?
Yeah, it's one of those arguments that repeatedly annoys me. That I go with apologists rather than Christians in general. Come back to about trying to blame the same thing. The various things aren't possible because it breaks the laws of thermodynamics.
Yeah, well, I mean, you are a floating head in space according to your video feed, so who knows what the possibilities are.
If a head appears in the sky, you'll know it's probably CGI.
Are you a Boltzmann brain? Is that it?
I need a jar.
I think he's actually a computer.
Well, I mean, you're kind of a floating head, too.
Yeah. I'm a floating head. Sorry, I've just been trying to send the link to Nakasuchi. He says he didn't get it in one account, so I sent it in another. He didn't get. Oh, there he is now. He just got it.
So we've got over here a floating computer head. We've got down here a random floating head in space, and then right below me there's just a random badger.
In saying that, now we actually have had I had an interview with the badger, and even when he came up,
I guess it's all inverted, but the three of us are the only real humans.
I had an actual interview with Badger, and when he came on camera, he had badger gloves on. He is an actual badger.
He didn't have badger gloves on. He had paws.
He had paws. Sorry, he had paws.
That's
Nakasuchi, thanks for joining us, man.
That's just my paws. Also, I'm actually on camera now. Look at me. I'm looking at you.
I can't see the names of everyone, so I apologize for those of you who I haven't met.
And the funny thing is, for where you see actually as well, Thomas, is not what it's been streaming out. Manda is actually to your right. Nakasuchi is below you. The badger is your bottom right. I'm far left, and Dave's far bottom right.
So I probably all kinds of confused.
Oh, your hands are all over the place now.
All over the place.
I take it that this is streaming to the MathPig account?
MathPig the channel, yes.
Okay, so what I have to... Oh, okay, so now I'm up in the top right corner.
Yeah.
Are my actions still mirrored, though?
Yes, right. Well, right. Go the other... If you were pointing to what would be your right... Yep, that's Manda.
Okay,
there you go.
So I'm pointing at Amanda now.
There you are.
And then if I point down is still down because it's not inverted.
That's
that way.
Nakasuchi.
Okay.
The gate is down.
Nox, thanks for joining us, man. How's yourself tonight? Did you get dinner?
Oh, it's going great, man. I haven't started dinner yet, but I'm super stoked to meet Thomas. Huge fan.
Well, it's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Nakasuchi. I'm known as the Raging Atheist. Little small YouTuber, but growing.
Okay. No, I've heard the Raging Atheist.
Yeah,
Oh, it was you that talked to Matt
yeah,
Powell,
I'm an
wasn't it?
asshole.
Was it you that did that interview with Matt Powell?
Yes. Oh, sorry. There's
Yeah.
my microphone.
I knew it.
Yes,
I knew
yes.
you'd
That
say
that would. I have an ongoing feud with Matt Powell. It's what I do. I'm a spur in his side.
There's an awful lot more to your channel now. You're also hosting the Apostate Alliance as well, which is run by hosted by John Peterson, that has ex-Muslims in that talk about their leaving the faith.
Yeah, John and Faye is hosting that, and yeah, it's a conversation channel now, not a raging atheist raging at Christians anymore. But yeah, I'm super stoked to meet you, Thomas. I've been watching you for a while, and I was very impressed with your work on the Make America Straight Again conference, and I have been a huge fan ever since.
See, I had forgotten him standing there in the pumpkin.
Yeah, that was literally the thing that I wanted to do,
Oh,
Tom.
let me see if I can find my pumpkin. Yeah.
I haven't been around as long as everyone else and didn't know this, this community existed. So you were one of the first atheist content creators that I stumbled upon, and that was the first video of you and the big pumpkin. So I appreciate it. That was really cool.
I was kind of thinking, I was thinking that video was most likely going to take off and go viral. It turns out that it didn't. Oh, nice pumpkin head. It turns out that video really didn't take off that much compared to some of my other videos. Like, I did another video on the conference itself that got significantly more traction.
Yeah.
But I thought that the pumpkin one would be something lighthearted, and it's kind of the topic with the Make America Straight Again conference was that homosexuals deserve to die and should be put to death by the government, which is a very, very heavy, disgusting, horrible topic.
Slightly extreme position.
But everyone who is pushing back against them, there's a certain amount of power to humor, and when you can take someone who is incredibly just like high strung and angry and pissed off about something, and you make it the source of humor, then you diffuse it. And I think that for people who have been through a tremendous amount of trauma and suffering and stuff, and they see that every single day from people around them who are telling them that you're an abomination, that you're worth less, that what you're doing is sinful and disgusting, and then to have those people with that power to just completely take the piss out of them and just pop a hole in their balloon by just using ridicule in an effective way. I think that it's effective.
I felt like, nice one, Badger. I felt like you were very relatable and approachable, and I understood what you were doing in that sense. That by mocking them, you were not only standing up for the LGBT community, but also doing so in a way instead of just screaming into the void, which is what they always expect us to do. You turned it back around on them, and I thought it was brilliant. Thank
you. Now I was it's funny though, because now everyone who has heard about that there's never going to be a point in the future, it could be 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and people are still going to be bringing up the pumpkin costume. But I knew what I was getting into, and I think that when you're able to take something that would otherwise to most people would be embarrassing and they wouldn't be caught dead doing it, but when you're able to embrace that and not be ashamed, then it kind of becomes your armor, and you can just have a good laugh and like laugh at yourself too.
Plus,
Yeah,
I thought your dancing abilities too. That was well done, Thomas. Well done.
I thought it was brilliant. I walked into that interview for Matt Powell's movie just to confront him on calling for the genocide of gay people, and I walked into an evolution debate that I'd never debated evolution before, but I did it solely for that. And I think that your method was probably more useful because you did make it a joke instead of making it something serious.
The point is, it is a ridiculous position that needs to be treated as a ridiculous position.
It really is.
It's horrific. It is that far.
Yeah, it's atrocious, and I don't see GPH in your in your chat, but if he watches later, that's a drink, GPH.
Oh no, GPH does not turn up here. Don't encourage that. Don't say it 3 times. That's twice.
He started a drinking game for every time I say atrocious.
Yeah,
so.
we've said it twice. We're not allowed to say it again, and then they'll turn up. Yeah, there is some fucking crazies out there that Thomas probably has the privilege of not having to deal with, because, you know, we are small channels here. There's a lot of us here of small channels, Thomas, and respect to where you are. You deserve everything that you have, man. In all honesty, you put the
Yeah, we
effort
get in the dirt a little bit, just a
I
little.
deal with the crazies. I just usually ignore them.
We invite them onto our channels. That's what we do.
Yeah, I seek them out, and I'm like, come and talk to me so I can yell at you.
I think part of it is I don't want to elevate anyone who doesn't already have a platform and who's crazy, because, you know, if someone is a nobody and doesn't have any subscribers, but then all of a sudden I start platforming nobody, and a bunch of my viewers go and subscribe just to ridicule them, but then because there's so many viewers, YouTube starts recommending it to a bunch of others, and they build a following. I don't want that to be my responsibility.
I agree wholeheartedly. And it's something that I'm starting to take more seriously now that the channel's growing, and I'm getting bigger. And I'm like, you know, I had a guy on Misha Popoff, and he kind of crossed that line for me. Like, all I'm doing is promoting your hatred instead of actually calling you out. So I took those videos down, and I'm trying to be more conscious of it. I'll still get into the dirt, but at the same time, I don't want to promote anybody that's not already big and doesn't have their own following already. I don't want to start a following for anybody.
Yeah.
Well, if I could...
Although I do think that the positions need to be countered, and I have made a few exceptions. I did use at least one clip from G-Man on one occasion.
I do feel the need, though, that when it comes to it, you know, if we always just only promote, you know, if we create our own echo chamber and promote this side and this side and this side, there is Christians out there that do have an awful lot of in certain agreements with us that do fight against. Now, I personally know a Christian that fights against young earth creationism, can't stand Kent Hovind, produces as many videos picking on Kent Hovind as certain atheist channels do, and brings in other Christians to ridicule things like that and ridicule that mindset, which I do, you know, I appreciate that. One of the main ones being Spartan Theology. He's a very small channel, under 100 subscribers, but you can have a conversation with that man. You can come back and forth and bounce ideas off each other.
He's fair, yeah.
Very,
he's very
fair.
fair.
Yeah, I find him very fair. And even if you're not out to try and convince him to convert and this, that, and the other, there is an awful lot of things that you can agree on and promote that part of it. You know, we may not agree on everything, but we can agree that young earth creationism is wrong. We can agree that taking the Bible literal is wrong. You know, and these things we can promote together. Like,
I totally agree.
A lot of common ground for sure.
One of my really close friends now, he's becoming like one of my best friends. He used to be known as That Christian Vlogger, right around 100,000 subscribers, Seventh-day Adventist. And we can come together and have really good conversations about coexistence and being atheist, being Christian, and being friends. And I think that that's a great conversation, and it's a good contrast if you're like me and you're just calling out fundamentals all the time. So you got to be able to show, hey, I'm not as hateful as they are. I can be friends with anybody if you're worthy.
that's the thing I find.
You're worthy.
If you only
if you're worthy.
If you only surround yourself with atheists, no Christian is going to come to the view that atheists are all right. They're going to go, oh, they have their own group. They're going to do this. They need to have people on our side that reach out to the other side to show we're not all bastards. We make jokes about eating babies, but we don't actually do it.
Yeah, I've had
Saturdays,
experiences
besides Saturday,
where I've managed to have a few useful discussions with theist content creators, where I've been on their channels and had them on my channel, and we've had discussions just on various topics, including look at these silly young earth things, stuff like that, where I think it's important to be able to present that friendly face as well as the not so friendly side of this belief.
Find common ground with the less extreme of the theists. I think it's very helpful to make that connection. I mean, we have a lot of pagans in our community as well. One of my closest friends, somebody I work with a lot, is he's a Buddhist. So, you know, but he's always on with us. We do a thing on Friday. It's called Six Pack on Atheist Pastor's channel, which is just 6 people, atheists, and 5 atheists and Jay, who's the Buddhist, drinking and just enjoying each other's company instead of doing really super serious stuff. Just a way to wind down with some people that we're friends with. And I think it's important to be able to surround yourself with not just people exactly like you. It helps at least get our voices out there too.
my parents, even though they're young Earth creationists, I typically try to find common ground with them when I'm spending time with family. And the types of things that I might talk about is I might bring up how, there's psychic con artists and some of the tricks that they use and how they're conning people out of their money. And like my parents, like they believe in demons and angels, and I think to some extent think that some of the psychics are actually tapping into the supernatural and the demonic forces. But when it comes to like these TV psychics that come on, I'm getting a J or an M, someone over here, and and getting people to pay $500 for a reading, and they're grief vultures. I think that at the very least, my siblings know that those are all con artists, so they see the good that I'm doing with calling out the psychics, even if they're still religious. And my parents will see things that I'm, I'm debunking flat earthers. They're like, are there really flat earthers? And I'm like, yes, there are.
This might be super personal. You don't have to answer, but I come from a very fundamental Baptist family, and I've had issues since I've become an outspoken atheist. Before I was an outspoken atheist, I didn't talk about it. They didn't care. But now that I am, it seems like I've had a lot of issues with those family members. Do you have those types of issues?
Honestly, because I'm kind of the loudest in my family, they typically don't start a fight because they know I'll end it. But well, they know that.
Is your extended family religious?
Yes, like almost everyone in my family is religious. Like almost everyone that I know that I'm related to is religious. And if they bring up something, like if they start talking about abortion, or they start talking about the existence of God, or about miracles or the supernatural, like I have enough ammunition, and I don't shy away from a good argument. Like I don't get angry, I don't raise my voice, like I do it in a way that's respectful, but I'm not gonna stop. Like if they give me a bone to bite on, they throw it to me, like I'm not just gonna sit there and let them walk all over me. And I'm gonna respond, and I'm gonna have rebuttals, and I'm gonna talk, and they know that I'm going to latch on. And so because of that, a lot of times they're like, well, what I would say, but I'm not going to do it because I'm worried that it'll offend you. I'm like, it's not that it's going to offend me. It's that I'm going to have a response, and I'm going to be right.
And it's going to be a truthful response that they don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So you talked about like having to find common ground with your parents because they're so different. I'm a single mom to a 16-year-old son, and we are the blackest of sheep in our family. Both of us are atheists. Both of us are left-wing, very progressive, and my parents literally watch Fox News all day long. My father, after Trump became president, became a climate change denier, regardless of the fact that his daughter works in the field. And like, I cannot convince him otherwise. Like, I have a master's in this. Let me explain it to you. No, because Trump is right. Like, it's very difficult when they're that extreme different.
You're just being paid out. You're being paid out by all of that government grant money. That's
Yeah, because I'm totally. I don't understand. Other than the supposed, we're getting money from somebody. What would be the point of this hoax? Like, why would we be lying about it? I don't know why they figure that. So
you're in bed with the solar power people.
Yeah, because solar power makes a lot of money.
It's the hilarious thing is, if you compare the salaries of petroleum engineers to climate scientists, it's not even in the same ballpark. It's like a fourfold difference in salary.
I don't make dick at what I do. I don't.
Pro climate change lobbyists, are there?
A lot.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't know, but I know that the oil, there is nobody that spends more money, and there's no bigger population of lobbyists in Washington than big oil. So
yeah, fossil fuels is the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
It's so ironic.
A lot.
It's so ironic that the lie that they're spreading is that these climate scientists who are dedicating decades of their life and all of this research and going out into places like, if I was a climate scientist, I just saw a video on this that was amazing. I think it was by A Skeptical Human, where he was talking about this myth of climate change being, you're funded by the government or something. And he's like, if I was going to be funded by the government and have, millions of dollars in funding and stuff, I would tell the government that the research that needs to be done is in like Cancun and not in like ice cores in like Antarctica or somewhere. It's like the worst place for anyone to live.
Since Trump became president, I mean, he's done a ridiculous amount of rollbacks of environmental laws and protections in our country. Yeah. Luckily, some of them haven't been pushed through because the higher court judges that the laws have come across have just pretty much ignored them. But a lot of it has, and it is so disheartening. And we've also had a big cut in funding as well. There isn't much money coming from the federal government to fund research or anything that I do in my field, and it is.
Well, it's because we need a space force.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's right.
That's it.
So it's absolutely imperative that we have this fucking crazy shit that I swear to God, and I've said this before, I just have this image of Trump sitting in the Oval Office with two little action figure space guys and like giving them army guns and being like, pew pew pew. I know we need a fucking space force, and that's I have no other explanation for it whatsoever.
I reckon he's just finished watching Stargate.
I don't know.
I think he's just finished watching Toy Story.
Yes, that is more likely. That is way more likely.
The crazy thing is that, like, we've been here before. Like, how much money did Ronald Reagan sink on Star Wars? Like, how many billions of dollars did he sink on that? And it failed. And
did it fail? Politically, it didn't fail.
Politically, it didn't. But as far as
the technology did. The technology is not up in space anymore. I don't believe. I could be wrong about that, but I think I read that they took it down because it was malfunctioning.
It was never going to. It was ever successful, was it? The space lasers.
Yeah, I don't think they ever got it to work. Yeah.
No.
And I don't want to give Trump ideas, but it wouldn't surprise me if the oil lobbies, paid him, and he's like, "Well, we need to get more oil because drinking it will cure the coronavirus."
Yeah.
He's going to say that tomorrow now.
One of his platforms when he ran was to bolster and the fucking coal. I think there's something along the lines of less than 30,000 jobs total in the country for laborers in the coal industry, and I think it's actually a lot less than that. So there is no, there's only so much coal. There's only so many people that work in the industry, and it was unfathomable to me for him to be pushing this, especially with Paris, which he pulled us out of, and the progress that we made prior with Obama, and it just I couldn't get a hold of why he would do that, and I think
he did it to win West Virginia.
That's what I was saying. It was about getting West Virginia. So,
but he didn't have to pull out of the Paris Climate Accords in order to still keep.
Go on. Sorry.
Like the West Virginia coal miners, he could have sent government some government funding or something to keep a factory open, and had some little loophole in there, and still stayed in the Paris Climate Accords, couldn't he?
Oh yeah. He got out of that just because Obama. I mean, everything Obama.
I believe that is the only reason he did it.
Well, that and I'm not even sure if Iran was in it, but if Iran was in it, then that would be an issue too.
Yeah, but leaving the climate accords is a big statement, whereas just having a little loophole sounds like a cop-out to the people he was trying to appeal to.
Mm.
Navadia asks, what did you do with the snakes you bought in Melbourne?
That I bought?
Yeah.
Snakes or snacks?
Maybe I misread
You
that.
would have assumed snacks.
Oh, snacks. Sorry. I thought she wrote she's snake obsessed. So.
Because I know she likes snakes. I'm like, but I didn't buy any snakes. No, I ate. It was all the Tim Tams. I got addicted to Tim Tams, and you know what I just discovered actually from Drew. Do you know a genetically modified skeptic?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He lives here in Austin with me, and he's not a roommate, but he's like 15 minutes away. And I discovered that they have Tim Tams in America.
What's a Tim
And I didn't
Tam?
know that you can buy them here.
How have they been ruined by whoever ruins your chocolate intentionally?
Wait, people ruin our chocolate?
Your
You-
chocolate's appalling.
It's like
you
dog
met
chocolate.
Nervardia at a conference, right? Which one was that?
It was Skeptical, no, sorry, not Skeptical. It was Skepticon. I had
Okay.
all the names. They are starting to meld in my Jello brain. I haven't even left the house in who knows how long.
Yeah, she was. I was talking to her on that trip, and she sent me a couple pictures of you guys, and was like
Yeah.
over the moon excited having met
Yeah,
you.
no,
and
I
read
met
pictures of you.
her, and I met Sarah as well. God, why am I blanking on Sarah's channel?
Skeptic. Oh.
Yeah.
I got the link.
Again, it's like my brain is Jello, and
Yeah,
you
I
know,
forgot Boris Johnson earlier, man. It's okay.
Here's my excuse for why I cannot think straight, and it's because I ran out of coffee filters. I'm like a hardcore coffee drinker. I ran out of coffee filters, and so I went through a drive-through. Like almost all the drive-throughs, coffee drive-throughs are basically shut down, but there was one that was open, and I bought some coffee and asked, "Do you have filters?" And so I got it, kind of safely, with a mask on and everything. Got my coffee filters, and they were industrial size, so they were too big. Had to cut them down. Went through those in like less than a week. And so I went on Amazon and I ordered a bulk thing of like 100 coffee filters. But because of coronavirus, instead of getting 2-day shipping, it's been like 2 weeks since I placed that order, and I've been living without coffee. And my roommate is a huge energy drinker.
Killed someone yet?
And so for this stream, I just grabbed one of these monsters from the fridge. And
That's
I
the devil juice, man. Don't drink that. That's the devil juice. Did you not know that?
Oh yeah, the 666.
Yeah.
I thought the name
Otherwise
of your
known as
channel would have
Free.
kept you away from those.
Yeah, I did a video on that. That was hilarious.
It's evil. It was
Already.
terrible.
I'm gonna bow out. I've got to start dinner for my kid. It was really nice to meet you, Holy Koolaid. I did see MathPig, Richard Madsen wanted in, so if you wanted to fill my spot. But so awesome to finally meet you, Thomas. I've been watching you for a long time. I wish I could stay, but my kid is like, I'm hungry.
No, I understand, and it was nice to meet you too.
All right, I will see you guys later.
Appreciate you coming in, Knock. Thanks very much.
Bye
Oh
now.
yeah, always MathPig. You know you're my boy.
Appreciate it,
All
man.
right, I'll talk to y'all later.
Man, I tell you what, when I first got into doing videos on YouTube about atheism and religion and stuff, there were maybe a few hundred content creators that a handful of them were actually still making videos related to this topic. And I used to know who everyone was, and it's just exploded since then, and I can't keep up.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And that's awesome. That's fantastic. It's
I think it's a place where a lot of people start and then they branch off into other things once they're a little bit established as well.
Yeah. I think part of it is that when you're coming out of your faith, you want to talk about your journey and what you're going through. And so you're like, please tell me I'm not crazy. Please tell me I'm not alone. And you start making videos about it. And all of these ideas are fresh and new to you. And then you realize, oh my God, people have been talking about this for like centuries and on YouTube for decades. And all of these arguments are not new. They're just new to me. But then once you reach that point, then you're like, all right, now I want to dive into either politics or philosophy or science or, other areas of debunking or some people just do drama videos, which I think is a waste of.
I've started doing story readings on my channel.
Personally, I hate
Story reading.
reaction videos as well. I don't think reaction videos are good. It just drives the drama and things like that. It's better to sit down and have a conversation with a person, depending on who they are. It's all right to put a Kent Hovind video up with 4 or 5 of your friends and sit and have a drink and go, is he still saying that shit? But when it comes down to actual people in the community, you want to build bridges. It's better to have that conversation.
I'm much more preferential to response videos than reaction videos.
Yeah.
So like I don't usually do response videos, but I did do a couple response videos to Trent Horn and the guy from Catholic Answers who was trying to rebut my Nothing Fails Like Bible History videos, because I was more interested in the arguments that were being put forth. And so I went and I studied and I learned all the different positions and facts and stuff, and then saw, does his arguments have any merit? And a few of his points were good, and a few of them were not so good. And I figured that for the sake of the, of understanding the topic, I would do a response video and present the positions. And I think that has more value than just sitting there watching his video and being like, haha, I can't believe he did that, what an idiot. It's like, okay, so you had a good laugh, but have you advanced the argument at all?
Yeah. And I mean, you talked about doing the anti-psychic and stuff videos before, which I love. They're very all-encompassing, and I like the fact that you break it up too. It's not just like a bunch of big ones. You go to the center of one cause, and you dig into the root of that issue. But I do really like the Nothing Fails Like Bible History. I think that's my favorite thing that you do on your channel. So it's just well thought out, and you have a lot to say, and well researched, and all of it. If anybody here hasn't seen them, go check out his channel. This series is relatively new, but they're unbelievably amazing. So,
thank you. It's very kind.
Have you ever received an email on that topic, Thomas? Somebody sending a message or an email saying, personally thanking you for what you've done? Because I'm considering the size you are and for what that you do, I'm sure you've probably got one or two.
Yeah, I mean, I just got one probably an hour or two ago, or Facebook message, not an email. So amazingly, when it comes to email and personal messages and direct messages on like Facebook and stuff, when I was a small content creator, believe it or not, I got a lot more emails and messages from people because they thought like, oh, hey, he's small, he's, I can reach him and stuff. And now it's like, I'll get an email much, much more rarely, even though I'm getting more views and more, have a bigger channel. You'd think that there'd be more people to send emails. Instead, they look at it as, oh, he's not reachable anymore. Like you reach a threshold where it's like, I'm going to send him a message, but his inbox is going to be flooded. And there are times when I'll get a lot of messages and I can't keep up with all of them. And typically I stay really busy. So even just responding to a few emails to me is kind of daunting and overwhelming.
Like I like to reach out to crazy people. There's a few crazy people in the community. I don't know if not our community, but I don't know if you've ever heard of Michael Tellinger on YouTube. Promotes stitching. Has actually found the area in Africa where they mined the gold and knows where the aliens converted us from what we were to this and all. And man, the guy in Network's even given him his own show, man. Okay.
Oh my god.
That he bangs stones together and says that sound waves is what built the pyramids. He's fucking mad, right? And as you said, depending on the size of people you reach out to them, I reached out to him and I got an automated response. It's like I'm not doing this, that, and the other. Obviously, a computer. But a week later, he did personally email me. Now, he did say that he wasn't going to do it and come on and all the rest of it, but he did take that time. And I can understand from somebody that size, it is difficult. If you had 100,000 subscribers and they all send you one email a day, that's a fuck ton of emails.
I mean, I still get emails. Like I still get a lot of emails, but like I was kind of expecting it to scale with my audience size. And what actually happened was when I was non-existent, it was like no emails. And then when I first started, I would get a few where people were like, this is good, you should keep it up, kind of like encouragement. And then I, as I started to grow, and it's weird doing this on camera because like it's inverted. So as I would grow, my channel would actually get it got a ton more emails at first because people were like, oh, he's under 10,000, under 50,000, like he can probably see them and read them and respond to them. He couldn't be getting that many. And then it kind of just plateaued, and it was like, okay, I was expecting to get twice as many emails as I got twice as big, but I think more people are like, oh, he's getting way more emails, so he's not going to see them. And and I'm kind of okay with that because sometimes I will not check my email for a couple days and I'm prioritizing getting a video out or working on stuff and feeling like I don't have to check and read and see and respond to if I was doing that at that scale, I would have to either hire a secretary or a virtual assistant or something, or I just couldn't read all of them.
We see it also works for the advantage of someone from my point of view, because as a considerably small channel, I've had people reach out to me and go, other small channels, that I know that I'm friends with, and they're like, how the fuck did you get X, or how the fuck did you get Y? And it's like, I sent them an email. I asked them if they were free on this date.
I direct people to my Twitter, because Twitter is a much easier way to communicate with people who have a platform. That you tweet at someone, you're limited to 280 characters, and it's you're not over, like if I get an email, I'll tell you the number one way to guarantee that I don't read your email is to make it more than a paragraph long. Like the number one way is if I get an email that, and maybe if it's like 2 short paragraphs, I might read it. But if I get an email that is from someone who I have no idea who it is a complete stranger, a rando on the internet, and they're just like, I have this long story. Like it might be a very valid story. It might be a very meaningful story. It might be something that's awesome to you. And I might skim the first few lines to try to see, like, in the first little elevator pitch that grabs my attention, is this something that is going to be a good use of my time? Or is it someone telling me how I'm wrong because the government has implants in our brains and there's just like a string of like 10,000 words worth of gobbledygook. But even if it's a personal message, people don't necessarily understand that, like, when your time is limited, when you have a lot of messages, I'm so much more likely to quickly read and reply to one that has, like, hey, here's my thing in a sentence or two, here's my question in a sentence, sincerely so and so. Like if you can just condense down, it's so much easier to read. And that doesn't just apply to me, that's anyone with a platform who you're trying to reach out to.
Yeah, it has become very difficult as the channels got bigger to remain, watching all of the channels and supporting everybody that you used to when you're starting out. They have 100, you have 100, this person's 100, and you all watch each other's content. But as time goes on and the channel gets bigger, it is harder to dedicate that time to just sitting on your ass and watching TV or watching YouTube. You don't have that.
I can't manage it. I'm tiny.
You live in a badger hole. You live underground. You've all the time in the world.
I was going to ask you a question, actually, which was the transition, because you used to do mostly animated content. What was the sort of the biggest change when you kind of transitioned to being more on camera? How did that kind of affect how you did things?
I mean, even when the first 3 videos that I did, I was on camera and they weren't animated. And those first 3 videos, though, I was working an IT job in Texas, and I got a camera, I got a green screen, I got a little bit of lighting, and I was just trying things out. They weren't very good quality, but it was just, I didn't care if my face was out there. I really didn't. And the reason that I shifted to animation was so I could travel, because I didn't have I sold that camera when I went to Thailand, and so all I had was a smartphone. And so during that journey and that process, it was like, okay, I'm going to use animated characters, and I can just whip it up with, all I need is to record audio, and as long as I've got audio, I'm good. When I came back to the States for a while, I was traveling around doing the conference circuit, and I was sleeping in my car, and I was on the road. I basically was traveling. I went all the way up to Canada for Imagine No Religion in Toronto. I went to the American Atheist Conference in South Carolina for the solar eclipse. I went to conferences in California, and I came down to stuff in Texas, went up to Chicago. Like, I did thousands of miles of driving. And when you're in that type of a situation, you don't have anywhere where you can record video at all. So I had to rely on audio. I literally had and I have a setup. If you go to my Instagram and you scroll down far enough, there's a picture of my home studio in my car, where I would find somewhere quiet, park my car. Hopefully it was somewhere where it wasn't so hot. So in Colorado, it wasn't so bad. In Texas, it was a nightmare. But you find somewhere quiet, roll up all the windows. I had a string going across the top, connecting the 2 little handholds on each side of the car. And on that string, I had a blue raspberry microphone that I just looped around, put a little windscreen on, and I had it right in front of my face, plugged into a laptop that was on my lap. And I just held up the laptop and would read off the script. And I was kind of having to peek around the side because I couldn't really see with the blue raspberry mic in front of my face. But when I did that, your car actually it's a very small, contained environment that's sealed off from the outside world. So it's a pretty good sound room, and it's got seats and uneven surfaces, so it doesn't get a lot of echo and reverb. It's actually a great place for recording audio if you need a makeshift on the go studio. And so I did that, and you work with what you have. I would go to coffee shops and I would take the audio and I'd add it to a little cartoon character and upload a video. When I transitioned to shooting actual live or actual video, I got a camera, and at first all I had was I just spent $100 and I got a small HD webcam, and it was one of those Logitech. I think it was the 920, or it was not the 9. It was whatever the newest one, the Logitech one was at the time, and it was horrible quality because I didn't have good lighting. And so I was finding all these little hacks. I was like, okay, what is the brightest light bulb that I can get at the store, and put in just a regular light socket and then try to diffuse it with like a white sheet or something. And I was trying to come up with all these different hacks of like positioning and stuff. And it was still awful. And lighting is still a kind of a weak point of mine. But like there's things that you don't necessarily know about shooting video that definitely complicate things when all you're used to having to edit is audio and then just adding on the B-roll and the animation and everything. Angles of the lights, getting, setting the white balance on your camera, making sure that your camera isn't overexposed, trying to get angles right and stuff like that. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's I like being able to do both. I like being able to transition between the two.
I think it does help telling a story if you can animate a whole load of different characters for that story as well, doesn't it?
Well, and you can do that where, and I've done that some with live action, where I'll have myself telling a story, and you can see my face, you can see like the sincerity and the, that like this is my experience. I'm a real person. Like you can put a face to the voice, but then I'll be like, and then I went here, and I'll cut to a little animated version of me doing whatever it is that I'm talking about. And I think that pulls people in more than just me telling it. And then I did this, and then I did that, and then because you can actually kind of see the story as it's unfolding. But you don't have to have animations to do that. You can go to like videoblocks.com or something, and it's a pretty affordable subscription for B-roll footage, and it's basically just video clips of you get copyright free clips of, like, let's say you type in people laughing or religious church service or things like that, and you'll just get random video clips that are all HD, and you can just take a 5-second clip here, a 3-second clip here, a 10-second clip here, and just put that over while you're talking. And so it's like, it just makes it more interesting. So it's not just me talking into the camera, it's me saying, and then I went to church, and you see like this shot of a church, and it doesn't have to be like the actual church that you went to. It's more the concept. It's more, talking about churches in general.
Help people visualize, yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I use the floaty head. My camera is, it only cost £40 sterling. It was lying in a drawer for about 2 years when it was bought, until I used it. It auto focuses like fucking crazy. Snapchat filter, free. Look, I'm a floaty head. And it is better than just a picture. It's better than just an icon. There is more interaction. It gives something visually for you to look at, like. We've been very lucky as well. There's a person in the community, Sal, Eases and Works, has done all the artwork for the channel, the sort of Pigsty space station that I have and the avatar that I have. We've very lucky people in the community that are willing to contribute.
Yeah. You work with what you have and you grow from there. And if, I would say don't wait until you have $20,000 to sink into a studio, to get started. Start with, a smartphone. When I said that I didn't have a camera for the first 2 years, I did have a camera. It was a smartphone camera on my phone itself, and my phone was 2 generations old. And so, you take what you have, you use it, and for as long as you can, and as you tell your story is king. That's what people are tuning in for. They like, you can have a gorgeous setup with, beautiful 4K display and everything. The graphics are just beautiful and the setup is beautiful, and you get on camera and you got your expensive microphone and you're like, today we're live. Okay. And we're live, and it's garbage. But if you sit down with a grainy ass camera and a horrible microphone, and you do everything you can to make it better, try to get as close as possible to your microphone, try to get a dedicated microphone, even if you just have $20 to do so. But do little things here and there, and then tell the story. Just be like, this is where I'm coming from.
The microphone I'm using now costs £45 off Amazon. It is, it's got a stand, it's got a lead, it's USB, it's plug and play. It was grand. But as you say, every video I see from a large subscriber telling smaller subscribers, to do something, stop worrying about your first video. Your first video is not going to get out there till you make your first video.
Yeah. And here's the thing, if it's crap, no one's going to see it anyway, so why worry about it?
This is my built-in laptop microphone because my computer exploded the other day. Well, it didn't exactly explode, but it doesn't work anymore. So I'm waiting for hopefully tomorrow, a new one will arrive, and I can actually go back to live streaming with a microphone rather than something that sounds like a spaceship taking off when I try to adjust the volume.
It's your laptop.
No, I can't because it only has a headphone jack. It doesn't have a microphone jack.
Well, I'll be desperately honest now. Whenever I did decide to move from just being a mouthy fucker in the live chat to actually doing this, I took £800 out of my savings and splashed out on it, because if you're going to do it, you want to be at least be able to do something, you know. And it was an investment, yes, but I'm hoping to do something here with building a community and building a group of people in a chat. And yeah, it's an investment for me because I hope to do something better for other people. You know, I hope to build something for other people.
Well, I mean, when I say that all I had was I didn't have a camera and stuff, that's true. I did have, I had a couple of like small, inexpensive, cheap microphones I could strap on the smartphone. And then I also had I invested in a nice MacBook because I wanted something that I could travel with and also edit that would have good battery life. So it's not like if you're serious about it, you know, you're not afraid to spend a little bit of money. But you don't have to have super expensive gear. Like you can go to a electronics store, and for $500 you can get a desktop computer that will edit video. It's not going to be able to render these 3D ray traced, gorgeous, beautiful, things in After Effects. It's not going to be able to handle, something like that. But as far as just taking regular footage, regular clips, and just have yourself talking, put some clips over it, add some audio, and put out a video, you're going to be fine.
Most of my editing I actually do on my mobile phone, which is just a standard OnePlus 6, which is 2 years old. It cost me £589, and I do all my editing on my phone. I think the software that I have is better on the phone.
In a way, I envy that. Because I use the Adobe Cloud, and I use Photoshop and Illustrator and Premiere and After Effects and Audition and pretty much all of the editing tools heavily use them in my videos, and it takes me forever, and the end result looks good. But the fact that people can put in much less effort and edit videos on their phone and get a good video out there, I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? Like I could just...
Well, I would definitely recommend KINEMASTER. I call it KineMaster. It's £22 a year, and it is one of the best editing softwares that you can use on your phone. I find with the computer now, as I say, I spent a lot of money. The best thing that I found is the advantage for having this computer is being able to help other people out. I've produced for Mama, I've produced for a few other people, and if anyone's stuck using this computer, I've been able to take them from just two people sitting on StreamYards to something that looks a wee bit more pretty. And as you say, the entertainment value, they're looking at it, it does bring a bit more people in. It lets them stay for that wee bit longer.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing when I say that you don't need a lot of equipment or fancy stuff to bring to start talking and start getting your message out there, 100% stand behind. But what I would recommend is once people start, don't stagnate.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Like, even if your show kind of stays at the same quality for a while, learn how to improve. And it might be that your show has a really powerful message, powerful story. It looks fine. It looks and sounds good enough. But maybe there's things that you can do with your social presence. Maybe you can, improve your logos or your banners or your, social media presence. Or maybe there's ways that you can market the show better, or that you can reach out and network better. Like, always be learning. Like, don't stop, taking courses and stuff. And whether it's free stuff on YouTube, whether it's signing up for Skillshare, whether it's going to, like, it used to be lynda.com, but now it's a LinkedIn Learning. They have some fantastic courses that I'm taking right now. But just keep finding ways to improve and to join groups and ask what other YouTubers are doing, and as you grow, not only will the quality of your videos improve, but also the quality of your outreach and marketing as well, because you got to have both if you want to grow.
Definitely true, man. I've recently, within this last week, got mathpig.com up and going, and on the main page, one of the things that I do try and promote is, have you got a skill that you can help someone else out with? Are you a good listener? Can you make a thumbnail for a video? It's just helping each other out in the ways that we can, putting the skills that we have to try and help the community as a general thing and growing from that. Like,
I think having the community is, our community is just amazing. Like for me, I was introduced to everybody through Navardia. Actually, she was the first person I really talked to that was part of the both Twitter and YouTube atheist community. Like I said, I haven't been around that long. I didn't know this existed until maybe like 6 months ago. But through Marrow, she introduced me to a bunch of the Aussies who, convinced me that I had a voice and should do my own channel. So, and they all propped me up and gave me my start. So the community here, who we have around us, is amazing. Wouldn't be here without these guys, Dave and Badger and MathPig too. So, yeah.
Well, that's it. As I said before, everybody has their own individual views. Everybody has their own individual points. But if we want to actually facilitate change in a wider scale, the community that we have here goes from Australia right across to California. We cross the entire planet. And if we want to facilitate change in a smaller area, even in our own country, the fact that we have X amount of people behind us, the fact that we have these people here to not only back us up on our points, but to give us the confidence to actually stand out in the country that we're in to make and facilitate change. It really does help to have even just 3 or 4 people behind you to just say to you, do you know what, you're doing a fucking great job.
Well, while we're on that topic, I just want to shout out Dave a little bit, because he's done a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like making the StreamYard tidy thing that everyone is now using to do their streams.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everyone who uses StreamYards is now using Dave's little program to make it look nice. And just stuff like when my computer blew up, he was on the Twitter with me for like 2 days trying to figure out what was wrong with it.
No, Dave does an awful lot for the community behind the scenes. I even said that as an introduction of him to Thomas. I don't know if it was on stream or not, but Dave does so much for everybody. I've said he's the brains behind the chat. Don't fucking shake your head. I have 5 questions in front of me for Thomas. 2 of them you come up with.
Because he's a floating head. He knows all. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
In saying that, he is the quiz master, 1:10 every day, usually UK time, if you're up for it. We've had Eric Murphy on, and I think we broke him.
We broke him.
We did.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
I'm sure he's told you about that or mentioned it in passing, but I'm sure Dave would definitely appreciate you coming on. Some of the questions are very, very good and have a sub-context to them about what you would feel about this, that, and the other. And some of them are just, would you like cheese or chocolate to be destroyed? It's fun. It's interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
He doesn't like cheese. He's fucking weird like that.
Oh, no, man. He asked some
an
really...
argument for a while now.
He had a question the other day, right? No joke. That a really serious question about whatever it was. And everybody, I think it was like, does religion do harm or something like that? Everybody was
like
yes.
A 2-second answer.
2-second answer. Went round the panel. No bother. The next question was, would you shoot meatballs out your nose, or would you be able to put force fields around ants? Which superpower would you prefer? He even defined how many meatballs per hour you were allowed to show out your nose. They were defined as beef mince and not human flesh. That thing went on for fucking ages. Like.
Wait,
I still think the ants is fundamentally a better superpower.
Put a force field around it.
Yes.
Most people
but
went
only
with
like
ants.
100 at a time.
Yeah,
So-
I had to specifically get Dave to up the amount of ants that you could have force fields around to actually be useful.
Yes,
Why
and
is
he
it
even
useful
defined.
to protect the lives of ants?
He even
No, it's-
defined that the ants
It's
had 2
protecting us
millimeters.
from the ants. And like you could shoot them into space and shit or something. I don't know. Dave likes to make
saying I
up
could
rules.
See, look,
I
see,
could make
this is what happens.
levitating ant force field around myself. and
A
I
2
can
millimeter. Now, don't
construct a
forget, Badger, it's only 2 millimeters away from the body.
If I can have an entire ant colony, I can do what I like.
But is the force field only protecting you from the ants, or is it's protecting the ants from
It's
everything?
protecting
Can
the
you
ant.
control
It's a
them
2
and levitate them?
You have the ant. Or
Around it.
You have 100 ants. That's like this many if you stack them all up in front of you.
Yeah.
or
I
so you're gonna go with the
I would-
meatballs out your
Right,
nose
right.
then, Thomas? Is that what we're saying? Meatballs out your nose.
You know, Dave, you moved,
10 a minute.
you pushed the show back for an hour to get Eric on, so it would be 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 7 o'clock in the morning. So you know, he would do that for you, Thomas. He would give you a little bit more time, right? Right, Dave? Right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Where's that Eric the blacksmith picture that you did?
Yes,
Well,
did you
I
not
said it.
see that, Thomas? Have you not seen Eric the blacksmith?
Eric the blacksmith.
I'm just
Okay,
trying
check
to
your
find
Twitter.
the picture, and I can't
Twitter
remember where
DMs
I
aren't
put
working,
it.
man. Twitter DMs aren't working. But I will send you Eric the blacksmith. Basically, what I did is Eric told a story about how he used to do blacksmithing. Yes, you've heard this story.
Ah, I've got it.
Yes. Well, what? Oh,
Hang on.
Badger can do it. Yes, because I sent it to Badger ages ago. What I did is I took.
There we go.
There you go. I took 90s Iron Man, and I put Eric's head on it. Look at the screen.
There it is.
Badger has now changed it to that. That is 90s Iron Man making the original Iron Man suit with Eric's head on it going, I haven't a fucking clue.
So I'm actually, I just messaged Eric to see if he will come in here. I think he's taking a nap though.
That's fair.
Uh,
Ask him how traumatized he was.
yeah, I felt
Right.
really bad because I
It's
was
really good
broken
fun.
him on, so.
It generally
How
is.
did he
Dave,
traumatize them?
randomly pick another question, Dave, that you think's totally inappropriate for the stream, and then what we'll do is we'll round up because I know everybody has an awful lot of stuff to do.
Wait there. Where's my question list?
You should totally come on for
Yeah.
Dave's question.
Yeah, because
Well, you're
Eric,
coming up-
Filthy. I think that
generally
was part
Eric
of
had
it,
no
too.
idea what was going on. Eric was texting Mama, and I was texting Mama, and I said, tell Eric to come on to fucking Dave's questions. I'm going to tell Dave to do an hour later. And that's Eric's introduction. So we'll give you a slightly better introduction.
So you have a clue of what happens. Yeah. So I get blamed for this though because I was the one who asked Eric. So
Yes, considering
Well,
that we
my
broke
God.
Eric on stream and the stream's picture is him as 90s Iron Man, you're more than welcome to come. Dave fell
By
off his
the way,
ball. Dave
Amanda,
fell off his
you
ball.
need to- By the way, Amanda, you need to tell me to shut up more.
Right, Dave, go on. Give us a random question, either from before or a spoiler for tomorrow.
Well, while he's coming up with that, if Eric got to be 90s Iron Man, can I be the Hulk?
Well, if you tell a story about how you used to work in a nuclear power station and it actually exploded. 'cause-
Actually, I can actually do you one better than that. Because if you work in a nuclear power station, you're most likely safe. Like you're most likely not exposed to any kind of nuclear waste. I, however, used to swim in that shit.
oh my goodness.
Like so to give you this requires do I have like 2 minutes to tell this story?
you can do
Oh,
whatever
could you?
you want, man. This show's all about you.
Okay, so let's just say that the most polluted river in the world. Do you know where it is and what it is?
Was that not in India? No, or in Brazil?
I'm pretty sure it's the Volga River in Russia, and I'll tell you why. Well, Eric's popping his head in. I'm trying to get him to come on stream. Hang on, what? He says no. You need to show your hair.
Come on, show your hair, man. Come on, come on. Man,
He
we
wants
seen your
to-
hair on Twitter
he
the
wants
other
to take
day.
a
It
shower. I don't think he wants to come on.
Right, well, if it makes him feel any better, what I will do is this, right?
Oh,
Totally
oh,
distracting.
hang on.
Don't tell him who it is.
That is my wee girl on the trampoline. She jumped around the trampoline and got fully charged with
Coming up
static electricity.
for a cookie.
Look at that hair.
Did you get him to come in with food? Eric.
Eric, just to say, I wouldn't be worried about the fucking hair. It's the trousers that I'd be worried about.
Oh,
I wouldn't worry about the hair. It's the trousers I'd be worried about.
These are really bumpy.
He's really comfy.
at least he's wearing real pants. How many of us can say the same thing?
I'm
can't-
not wearing any clothes whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Thanks,
I've
Matt.
got
That
these
was,
brand new special relaxing trousers that I'm wearing. And they're not weird at all.
They're invisible.
Yeah,
All right,
very
so
weird.
my Volga River story.
Over
Yeah.
the Volga River.
So when I went to Texas A&M to for college, and I did a double major in international studies and Russian studies as well as political science. And because of that, I got to do a study abroad in Russia. One of my professors there, he had lived in Russia since like the Soviet times for like 30 years. He'd been running this program for a long time. Harvard doctor. Like this guy knew more about Russia than just about anyone I could possibly think of. Like just insane level of knowledge. So he pulls up this chart and he's like, today we're going to do a lesson on environmentalism in Russia. He's like, and we're going to start by talking about the Volga River. And he starts talking about how it's been dammed up and how the fishing supplies have been diminishing and how, the caviar, this specific type of caviar is illegal in the rest of the world, but it's, it's in Russia and all the Caspian surrounding countries, they just eat it like for breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
But then he's like, now here's the thing though, not only are these fish being fished into extinction, but they're also being polluted like crazy. He's like, now at this stop, and he like points to a specific factory, a specific town or whatever. He's like, there are 380 tons of lead being dumped into the Volga River every year. And then at this stop, there's like 650 tons of mercury being dumped into the river every year. And then at this stop, there's this much like waste from, coal plants. And he just starts going down the list and he's like, and here's the nuclear reactor and here's this and here's that. And like, by the time you get to the bottom, he's like, and it's all dumped into the Caspian Sea. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I swam in the Caspian Sea for 14 years of my life.
Oh my goodness.
And I knew that there was oil because there's a lot of oil factories and there's a lot of, oil wells, or what do you call it? Platforms in the Caspian. And there's leaks. There's always going to be some leakage, but like it's not exactly a clean ocean. But when you're a kid and you're going to the beach, you don't give a shit. It's just like, yay, beach time. Let's go, grab floaties and whatever. And so I'm sitting there realizing that my entire life, I should have been growing a third eyeball. And not the spiritual kind that opens up and when you align your chakras.
Yeah.
The one that actually opened up, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So how many extra nipples have you grown out of this childhood swimming location?
Oh, you should see when I rip my shirt open, there's just like, they're like eyeballs, like on a spider.
My 16-year-old is really interested with Russian culture and everything. It's not like he agrees with the politics and stuff or the political landscape at all. He just is super interested in things that are Russian, and he has a few Russian friends and stuff that he made online.
Mm-hmm.
He would kill to be able to pick your brain for a minute about it. Yeah, I bet you he would. So, especially since I don't think he's ever met anybody that like has been to Russia other than his couple, friends that live there. So, just saying.
Yeah, it was interesting because the program that I went on, it was before. This was actually, so I said that I studied Russian studies at A&M, but this was actually right before I transferred because I did a year before at a Christian university, and then I did the study abroad, and then I transferred to A&M because I knew I wanted to go into international studies. But while I was the program was technically through a Christian program called Best Semester, and it's a Christian program where they'll take all the Christian colleges and stuff, and they'll send them all in the study abroad from a conglomerate of Christian universities. And this wasn't missions related. I did that in Kazakhstan. That was a different trip. I got to do 2 study abroads because complicated story. But the one in Russia was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I started in St. Petersburg, spent about a month there, then went to Nizhny Novgorod where we did most of our studies, and then I got to go to Vladimir, Suzdal, Kazan, which is kind of the capital of like the Muslim oblast in Russia. Or oblast is kind of like how we have states; they have like districts or whatever. And Kazan is kind of the Muslim one, and or Tatarstan is like the Muslim one, and then Kazan is the capital of it. And then we ended in Moscow, so I got to see like so much history, like all the way from in the far west all the way stretching past like Moscow and stuff, and it was really, really neat. and then getting to also go to a lot of the former CIS countries and stuff, it helped to kind of round that out. I got to, not as a part of that study abroad, but I've traveled a fair amount outside of that, and getting to see how they all interconnect is really cool.
Question, who is to you the most interesting Russian historical figure?
Peter the Great.
Okay. Very cool.
Rasputin.
That's what I was gonna say.
Rasputin is he's interesting, but as far as like
nuts.
As far as what all
nuts.
Peter the Great accomplished and what all he did for Russia,
Yeah.
basically building this entire city out of a swampland that everyone said could never turn into a city, and then like building a navy and like modeling it after Western navies, and just building a country kind of from the ground up it was kind of unparalleled.
I think for me, the appeal of Rasputin is not just who he was and how fucking nuts he was, but how much of a hold he had on the family, and was able to, where even though he was like, he wasn't really, a monk, and he was a fucking like drug-addled sex addict, like, but he was able to just always be in the palace with them, and to, guide their thoughts, because he would tell the wife, something that, and the wife would tell the husband, and that's how he gained more and more power. And also the way he fucking died, because that's just
I think with the National Prayer Breakfast and the organizers of that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the lore around Rasputin is definitely has been kind of a thing of, it's more of a thing of legend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as what percentage of the stories are true versus not is up for dispute. But yeah,
There's still great stories though. So
there's some fascinating stories, and you've got, he's definitely a fun one.
I think it all came down to the fact that their son was sick. That was it. And him coming in and pretending to heal him was what gave him so much power over that family. Just an unbelievable amount.
For you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dave, could you do me a favor?
Nope.
Yes, do it told. Go to Discord, share your screen, because I don't have enough fucking TV screens or windows to do this, right?
What did you do?
I'm hoping it gets to you, because the internet's down at the minute. Twitter's fucking not working, but I've sent you it, and I'm hoping it gets you. I've sent it to you via WhatsApp. Yeah.
Oh, wait there. Can't share that screen yet.
Was there porn on it, Dave? There was porn on it, wasn't there?
My conversation with MathPig, where he was being very rude about someone.
Oh, that's
Go to
yes.
Dave, not Dave. Right. Can you put the picture up?
It's up.
Right.
Oh,
No,
Hold
it's
on.
not.
Give me a minute. I have to do a thing because Dave's hack's going. Right. So I have to change scene. Okay. Boom. And boom. That should work. Yep, that works. And what we're going to do is, Thomas, are you ready?
Yes.
Have you got a
I think.
stiff drink close to you?
I got what?
Have you got a stiff drink?
I mean,
It's an energy drink.
I don't think that Monster qualifies.
You wanted to be the Hulk.
Well, there we go.
You need some kind of saying. What is the Thomas Hulk saying?
The Thomas Hulk saying is, I smash stupid shit? No.
Thomas Smash.
Thomas Smash. That's good.
It's like when I drink the Kool-Aid, you wouldn't like me.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
Well, you wanted to be the Hulk. When DMs on Twitter start working again, I'll send you that. Probably this will
That was fast.
Hmm?
That was fast. Did you whip that up, or did someone in your Discord come up with it?
No, I
No,
did
he
that
did.
on my phone while we were on a conversation. That's what I'm saying.
That's what he did. Like, it was during the show with Eric on Dave's that he just was like and did it and put it out there. Like,
I typed in
middle
the
of
Hulk.
everybody talking.
Literally, what I did is I typed in the Hulk, took a screenshot of it. I then typed in your name, took a screenshot of your face, used one program to delete everything behind it, another program to add you to the Hulk, and then I changed the filter on the green to fucking 100%. That was it. 3 steps, 4 steps on the phone. It really is. The phone, if you have a decent mobile phone, a decent smartphone, its ability.
Mero says she really likes it, so
Yeah.
there you go.
I'm trying to teach myself how to draw, and for that purpose I got one of the Samsung tablets, and I
have to say,
so
man,
much
if
harder
people,
though, instead of just taking pen to pencil to paper, because it's more difficult to erase. With like, if you're starting, from scratch and attempting to learn something, it just seems like it would take so much longer on a tablet.
I mean, maybe I'm kind of learning fundamentals and stuff, and there's
Okay.
if I'm doing like cartoon sketching and stuff, and I'm trying to draw like animated characters, I'm getting to the point where I can do like the wireframing and I can start to create the characters, but they're not really smooth. It's kind of lopsided a little bit, and there's basic drills that you can do with the pen because it's pressure sensitive, and so it's like you can do just like lines straight up and down all the way across the tablet and try to keep them all exactly the same amount of pressure, so the same thinness or thickness. And then you can do like circles where like the first half is like thick and then the second half is thinner, and you do that around, and you get really, really used to the pressure sensitivity of the pen and how to hold it, and like not just moving with your wrist but like moving with your elbow, and like these are things I never knew because I never took an art class.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to learn how to draw on a tablet, and there's a lot of skill that goes into it, and then learning the fundamentals of like perspective and angles and shading and lighting and getting the shadows right and stuff. I'm not good at it, but maybe a couple years from now we'll see.
MathPig mentioned our friend Geosam Works earlier, and he did. My friend Atheist Pastor and I have a channel we're working on for atheist agnostic youth, just having being able to answer questions about faith and everything to people about my kids' age, teenagers. And so Sal was doing our banner, which was some kids that he was drawing on the computer, and he made one of the kids my son. So he took some pictures of my kid and drew him as a cartoon, and it is the fucking coolest thing ever. Like, having my kid in cartoon form is awesome. So.
Yeah, I do cartoon characters of people, like custom for like patrons and stuff, but it's using the online tool. So like basically this tool will be like, okay, here's like 20 mouths to choose from, which one looks the most like them, and
Yeah,
I'm able to kind of.
I've been doing something similar with that myself, man, because I want to take this floaty blue head and actually make it a 3D sort of humanoid body with a pig head. And I've been using Daz 3D, which is quite good because you can actually go to 3D websites and download a basic human, a basic pig. And can you hear me at all?
I can hear you.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Did you survive Dave's critical questions, and would you suggest that Thomas has a go?
I mean, yeah.
He hesitated. You see the way he hesitated? When you asked Mama to insult you, did she hesitate? No.
Sorry, I'm getting over a migraine that I've had for the last who knows how many hours, so I'm a little.
It's the Rona.
Oh, sweet honey.
I haven't heard him cough yet.
The questions, is it?
I don't got the Rona.
If it was, you'd be fucked anyway, Thomas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you would.
So.
Well, thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you for coming, Eric.
Thank you very much, man. Really do appreciate you coming on.
I also, just so you know, I texted you earlier. So. Okay.
I know some people who they will even social distance from their roommates in their own house, and it's like, you can't come within 6 feet of me, only stay in your room. And it's like, man, it already sucks enough that we're having to stay home and can't go out and can't meet other people. If you can't even see like one person who's a roommate,
Sharp and Hyde in the live
you're
chat
gonna get
come
it
up
anyways. Like, if your roommate gets something, they're
use
touching
any
everything
of the
in
same
kitchen.
surfaces.
Sharp and
wish
Hyde
this
came
could
up
be
with a wonderful
Yeah.
thing the other day. She had her friend called round and they both sat in their cars and just talked to each other.
Yeah. No, I actually, so one of my friends was like, hey, I'm like really feeling like lonely. Can I just like meet you in the driveway and sit 6 feet away from you and have a beer? And I was like, I think that social distancing is probably okay. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have the problem of having the 16-year-old who hates me right now because he can't go out and see his friends. So he did get a job a couple weeks ago. So we live on a golf course and he's just moving golf carts around. So he's not actually coming into contact with people, so he goes to that, but I still won't allow him to go see friends and stuff. And he is just so fucking miserable. So this is the person I share my house with, who just is just so angry and already got the teenage angst shit going on anyway. It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, from a personal point of view here, having a 3-year-old, when Elena was up for the weekend, the couple of days that I get to spend with my daughter, because she lives far away, and we would go to what used to be Peter Pan's or this, that and the other, which are play parks. And personally for me, having 100 kids fucking screaming and shouting, I fucking hated that shit. Absolutely hated it. Now don't get me wrong, Elena loved it. There's slides, there's this, there's that, there's the other. But since the Covens come in, as you know yourself, Manda, and Dave knows, twice a week now we go to the river. And we spend time in the river. We've built a dam and a little area to focus fish and this, that and the other in, and she throws stones, and I have spent more time, and she's enjoying being outside. And the actual fucking nature, rivers, splashing waters, it's been fantastic.
I'll tell you one downside to that. So we just moved into this place, and the neighbors next door have, I'm pretty sure, 28 kids. And I'm pretty sure that the reason that, for all I know, it could be 50 because they are so loud. And they're all out of school right now. And so they get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and jump on the trampoline. And I don't know how trampolines can support that many floor demons.
Well, I'm lucky my wee girl doesn't wake to 10:30. It's fucking brilliant.
They shriek and they scream. And the only reason that you can't hear them is because this studio is on the complete opposite end of the house, as it's on the other side, and these mics are pretty directional. But on the other side, there's a trampoline, which is right next to my bedroom.
Oh, no. You never told me that.
So, at 8 o'clock in the morning,
right there on the other side of that wall.
Yeah. So. I sent a recording of it to my girlfriend, or did I send it or did I just take it? I think I just took it and then I bitched to her about it. But I was like, I feel kind of creepy recording. It's not filming kids. That sounds creepy. But
isn't that exactly what you're doing though?
Well, you weren't on camera. I was like, I just had the audio recording of it.
You just wanted to record them having fun in somewhere else.
I just wanted to commiserate at how much I hate children.
Well, I don't know if you've seen this earlier, Eric, right? This is... Oh, hit the wrong button. Jesus, did I fuck that?
And that right there. Fortunate for you, Thomas, because the first time Eric met my son, the first thing out of his mouth was, I want to adopt him. So you might end up with another...
Yeah, that one clip of me saying, I hate children, is going to be what is going to be taken on repeat whenever I run for Senate or something. It'll just be I hate children. I hate children.
Well, I don't know if you've seen this earlier. Thomas, whenever you were bopping back and forth. I can't remember, but I definitely know Eric hasn't seen it, and I'm such a proud daddy. Just as you remember, or just as you mentioned the trampoline, that was my wee girl on the trampoline earlier, and the static electricity had charged her hair. Look at that.
That's amazing.
She just turned to me and she goes, Daddy, look at me. And I turned around and it was like, what the fuck is going on with your hair?
Well, let me put it this way. I don't hate all children. I just don't like screaming at 8 in the morning when I've been up working late the night before.
No, I totally get that, man. I am very lucky that my wee girl does not wake to at least 10:30. 10:30 is her earliest time. I am very lucky.
Well. Yeah. And I, even my kid, I don't exactly like all the time either. So it's totally understandable.
I have been in a live chat. I have been in a live conversation, having a hangout with me and Mama, and we're just sitting talking shit. And her son walks in, she mutes, then unmutes by accident, and goes, "Do you know you're a fucking son of a fucking whore?" And it was like, that's totally.
And then he laughs at me and he says, that makes you the whore, right? So, But that's not like we don't mean yell at each other. It's just our banter and the way we talk to each other. So
Yeah.
that's not him actually
was-
being mad at me. We're just
Well, my sister would make "your mama's so fat" jokes to me, and I'm like, we share the same mom, right?
right. Yeah. So
I would say it's really weird seeing the two of you doing the sort of roommate banter, because the contexts that I normally see both of you in are sort of, with Eric particularly, it's being really nice to people in a talk show.
I see where
you're
you're
gonna,
going
are you
with this.
gonna
Go on.
finish that thought?
Finish the
And
sentence.
Thomas?
Go on, finish the sentence.
That was the whole sentence.
Oh,
That's
that was the
not-
whole
No.
That's it. Eric
I'm
really
calling
is the
shenanigans.
sweetest, though. So I mean, just you can't really compare because Thomas is as sweet and wonderful as you are. Eric is just fucking like diabetes sweet. So
Did you just call him
I don't know, I've
diabetes
seen him
sweet?
go off on some creationists before.
yes, it is.
You called him
Really?
diabetes sweet.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just,
He's that
it's just
sweet,
that
he'll kill
the,
people.
The slight friendly snark of the roommate dynamic is completely different to the friendly talk show dynamic. It's a whole thing in my brain.
So to be fair, in the time that we have lived together, I have got to tell you that this guy right here is one of the kindest, sweetest, most adorable people.
Can we get a hug on stream? Can we get a hug on stream? Go on, give him a hug.
If-
Give him a
if
hug.
you want
Go
to
on.
hold me right here and now.
You know what? You know
Okay,
what?
just
You
to
know what?
clarify,
No,
Thomas,
no,
you're not
no,
worried
no,
about
I'm
that
not-
being cut out. You're worried about the other fucking.
I'm not backing down on it. I think this guy's a really great guy, and I'm proud to be his roommate for sure.
No,
Yeah,
we
see,
all see it
that's
too.
the Eric
You're
we
not
used to
bad
see on
yourself.
the show.
In fact, when I first
No, too late, bro. Too late.
when I first watched you, I thought you were actually kind of soft spoken a little bit. So
Me?
yeah. Which is I think it was just like the first or second video I saw of you. It was a lot quieter than other ones. You were just very calm and
Bad
collected.
Mike.
It was the conference one, the one you did that talks about the conference.
Yeah, I mean, so especially my earlier stuff, but sometimes when I'm doing a video, like I can have, if I'm like just exploring a topic and I'm like, this looks really interesting, let's talk about this. Like,
Yeah.
I can be soft spoken, but I'm not afraid to, like, I don't like being an asshole just for the sake of being an asshole. But if I need to lay down the hammer in order to be, and I have to be a dick to make a point, I'm not afraid of confrontation.
Good.
And I think that whenever I do responses, like even my response video to Trent Warren with the Nothing Fails Like Bible History, I
Decimated him.
I said some things that were kind of harsh,
Burned him into the ground. Set the house on fire.
but I left out a lot of stuff too that I like when my first draft of the script had some things that were kind of fucking mean.
His responses to Trent Horn, it is he leveled the earth. He just nuked it, and it's just irradiated now.
No, you see, that's necessary though. Sometimes I find that in the Badger's at it again. Eric the blacksmith. I find that. Oh, you didn't see Thomas the Hulk. No, I find that sometimes people are too fucking. Some people are too fucking nice. And sometimes it needs to be said, you're a fucking dick, you're a fucking asshole, stop doing that shit. And people worry too much about what other people's feelings are too much these days.
I think that the difference is from the beginning of my channel, my goal has been to attack ideas and not people. And there are times when people do things that are incredibly harmful and dangerous. An example of that was we were talking earlier about the Make America Straight Again conference. And when someone says that if you're gay, you should be put to death, that is an idea that is like, even just holding that idea, it's like, that is a horrible, horrible, horrible idea to hold.
You have to attack the person there.
But do you have to attack the person is the question. And I think that
they detach themselves from they literally detach themselves from the idea by saying it's not them. That's why you need to attack that idea, because they use their religion to detach it. You need to attack the person. I agree generally. I generally agree with you.
when I see people like that, though, I can't help but feel like there are so many people who I knew when I was religious, and even, you know, family and extended family and stuff, as well as positions that I've held myself, that are not very far removed from the NIFB. And like, I look at the way that I viewed homosexuality, you know, before I became an atheist, and the ideas that I was raised with, and I'm like, I wasn't much different. I saw it as an abomination. I saw it as something sinful. I saw it as something that was going to bring God's wrath and judgment on the world. You know, and these are positions that obviously I was able to change my mind on. And I think that many atheists that I talk to are in exactly the same boat. And if they were able to change their mind and stuff, it's like, what's the most effective approach? Are you trying to reach that person, or are you trying to reach all of the people who might be listening to them? And if you come off as just this angry, screaming, like, this person's an asshole or something like that, you're probably not going to be as effective as either one, making fun of and kind of ridiculing kind of the way I went,
See, that's
or approaching it from a logical standpoint of like, this is why it's harmful, this is why it's wrong, let me address the position.
That's what we try to aim for here, is the ability to have the conversations, tell people you're wrong, this, that, and the other, and then come back and discuss it and not be offended.
So speaking
I have
the person.
Right, okay, Eric, Manda, Dave. Okay, Eric, go first, then Manda, then Dave.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, Eric, you go first, then Manda, next, then Dave, because all of you talked at once.
Okay. You're the guest, so I didn't want to hijack it. But oh my gosh, I saw the best YouTube comment ever, and it was amazing. Can I read it to you? It was so good.
Yes, absolutely.
It was so good. Oh, okay.
It's about his penis.
It's not that
The
sort of
hammer is his
stream.
penis,
It's not
is that
that
it?
sort of stream. Okay, I promise it's not that sort of stream.
Okay. Go away, Eric. We need sincere and honest atheists to confront these religious lunatics who lurk among us. We don't need whispering atheists and posers/fakes like you who coddle and pamper theists. You need to go lurk in the shadows with your equally disgraceful friend Jamie. Your fans are a handful of lonely and pathetic creatures that are attracted to your annoying voice and odd appearance because they are confused social mutants. They are masochists like yourself who enjoy being on friendly terms with theist scum who would burn them all at the stake if they had the power. And where's your buddy Dean? No atheist with any honesty, passion, integrity, and honor would befriend that miscreant.
And that's Dean Meadows, who's like the nicest guy.
Wow. The look on your face is priceless, Eric.
I love it so much. So much. I screen capped it and sent it to Dean, and he said he didn't get it, and I told him it's because he's a social mutant.
Twitter DMs are broken.
Oh,
That's
so good.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, Dave, you're probably going to get about 5 different messages from me at some point this evening when the Twitter comes back, saying something like
Dave,
religious freedom.
Dave, can you share your screen just so we can give Eric the privilege of seeing the Hulk Thomas?
Ooh, yes. Because he's normally a string bean. I'd love to see him all.
Well, seeing as
You're
we've
good
got
looking,
Iron
string bean.
Man,
You're a
we've
string
got
bean
Iron Man,
nonetheless.
I
Blacksmith.
just have long limbs.
You are like 80% elbows and knees, sir.
I liked what Julie said about this.
Which was?
You wouldn't like it when I drink the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! Can somebody send that to me, please?
I've already sent it. I've sent it to Thomas. Whenever DMs work back again, he'll get it.
Oh, I finally got the StreamYard link in my Twitter DMs
Okay.
now.
But I really want to use that in embarrassing ways.
I'll make sure to send it to you too.
Thank
Fine.
you. Thank you. Oh,
So I
well, this is gonna be good. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just taunting him with pictures of him as Hulk.
Okay. I was gonna say just in terms of the arguing with people conversation from before. I have a few things that I'm really super passionate about. One of them, one climate change. I get mouthy with that, but the anti-science thing I can't take, and I feel like all of them are very connected. Like the anti-vaxxers are the worst because that shit is just dangerous as fuck. But coming along the same lines, people who tend to believe, that are anti-vaxxers tend to also, they can believe the flat Earth theory or the no moon landing theory or the 9/11 shit or Sandy Hook. Like I've noticed, when you talk to somebody who believes in one conspiracy theory, they tend to at least have another one or two that they believe, if not fucking all of them. And I hate the science denial. I hate it's just some of it's so dangerous, and I think it's inconceivable that they attempt to teach even children about this shit. It drives me up the fucking wall. So I get very angry and mouthy when I deal with those people. So
Yeah.
But Dave, you were next.
Oh, I was only just going to clarify. I don't think that attacking somebody for holding the opinion that all gays should be killed. Nothing with my screen. It's the people that are spreading that message. That's where I think it is reasonable to attack the person, not anything else. It's the idea that has to be attacked. But if you're the person that stood up on the pulpit preaching that that homosexuals should be killed or anything along those lines, that is where you need to attack the person.
Yeah.
For the purpose of shaming and ostracizing.
I thought Bad Tempered Badger. I thought the stream freaked out there for a second. It's just Bad Tempered Badger being an asshole.
Eric,
well, I said I can talk to Dave as well.
Well, there it is.
I was real quick to respond to Eric using the Hulk image of me. You realize I danced in a giant inflatable orange pumpkin costume suit, right?
Yes, but I'm going to be printing this out and sticking this on the page.
I don't get it.
I will also be. Yes, no. This is going to find its way all.
At
over
least
the house.
WhatsApp's working. We can give credit to WhatsApp.
This is the beauty of having no shame. Is you're kind of invincible.
You see, that's the thing, Thomas. I had the same idea. Whenever I hit 200 subscribers, I went onto Twitter and I was like, right, 200 subscriber, let's have a celebration. Self-deprecating suggestions will be appreciated. If you're comfortable in yourself, you can do anything.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of my take on bullying. Is like bullying sucks. I don't advocate for bullying, but if you are being bullied, then one of the best, most effective ways to handle it, at least from my experience, is to whatever criticism that you get or whatever mockery that you get, either one, embrace it and be like, well, yeah, and like kind of run with it and don't be afraid of a little bit of humor, and then you completely diffuse it and rob them of their source of power.
Yep.
Or two, if it's actual criticism that is either constructive or destructive, but that it's legitimate criticism of something that you're doing, if you just say, hey, thank you so much for the feedback, I'll been trying to work on this, or I'll try to look into it.
Well, I have to say, Thomas, from a personal point of view, that has taken time. Right now, if someone come across and I was having a problem with them, I would much rather have a dialogue. But whenever I was being bullied in high school, my ma sent me to kickboxing for a year, and I ended up dragging a guy out of a classroom and throwing him through a reinforced glass door.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been there. I've been there.
It needs to be done sometimes, but I can definitely agree with you now.
What I'm saying is that that's something I definitely didn't learn in high school, but and I think if I had, it would have saved me a lot of headache and embarrassment and shame, because I would have just if someone's like hey, you look like whatever, like even a second ago, you're 90% elbows and knees, if I'm able to laugh at that and just kind of like run with it, And then it's like, it's not ammunition. It's like, it's just funny. And it's like, you are seen as someone who is secure in yourself, and you're seen as someone who can embrace any kind of comment, whether it's good or bad. It could be you have a gigantic nose, or you have huge ears, or you're fat, or whatever. And if you can like kind of laugh at it and roll with it and not let it, you know, even if it sticks, you know, not let it bury you.
Have you not heard of hashtag blame MathPig? I am the shoulders for fucking everything that goes wrong, man. On multiple channels, on some of them they even have a scrolling text. When something breaks, it pops up. Hashtag blame MathPig. I'm not even there sometimes, you know.
Well, bullying is terrible, apart from the first time that I talked to MathPig on Twitter.
Yeah, your first message that you sent to me, I was like, sorry for not replying, and you sent me a message going, what the fuck is your fucking problem, you fucking asshole? Or something to that effect.
Because we were in a stream at the time, and he sent me a message, so I sent back something like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah, freaked me
And
out.
he was-
Didn't know what was going on.
He replied he was in the middle of typing something like, have I done something to offend you? And I was in the stream with him just going, did you get my message, MathPig?
Yeah, that was the one that followed up with it, with a smiley evil face or something. It was like, did you get my message?
If I may. Hey, Mama Atheist.
Yes.
Before banning him for being a douche in the chat, you know who you are. How come you haven't called Talk Heathen? We missed you.
What's going on in the chat? I wanna look
It's
up.
because I mopped the floor with him last time he was on.
No mention. No, I'm just going to say, I'm not giving the man. I'm not doing it. He has been offered a platform. He has refused it on multiple occasions. That's the only time he's getting. Please move on.
I got
He's
you.
in the chat. Someone tell me I can't load it quick enough.
Look, I'll end the stream rather than talk about it.
That
Look,
person calls.
Not naming him.
They will save a line for him.
certain person has been given a chance, multiple occasions to come on here for a chat, has always refused it. So
He needs you to say 4 lines for him, because that's all that there is in his script.
Yeah. He went on to my friend Atheist Pastor's channel, and Chris came out the gate and just was like, no, I converted to, what was it?
Buddhism.
It wasn't Buddhism, it was something like that though. And he absolutely believed him. It's just totally, it was like,
No,
oh, okay,
we're not
well,
going to
let's
go
talk
down
about
that
your
route. We're not going to
conversion
go down. We're not going to go down the route and discuss the things. The videos are there. There's one on Atheist Pastors. There's one on Jay. There's 2 in mine. Anyone wants to go and watch them, go and watch them. The man wants an opportunity to come on. He's been given it. He turns it down. Gives any more shit in the chat. Man's gone.
I'm
And
never.
I'm done with that. I just wanted to say, put your money where your mouth is. Call Talk Heathen.
I also want to put out that invite.
I'm
Do you know
never
what?
thought
Fuck it.
someone like
I ain't
that
gonna
would
fucking do
do
it. There you go. There you go.
I also want to put out that invite. If the gentleman in question does want to come on my channel for a chat, he can email me. My email address is open to all. I'll put it in the chat as well.
It's tittysprinkle69@gmail.com.
It's fucking
You're not-
close to that. You would not
Close.
believe how fucking close you
Close.
are, right, Thomas?
My email address, I'll put it in the chat for you. It's badger@cock.li.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yep, that's his actual email address.
He's very proud of it too. He tells everybody all the
Yeah, he
time.
would much rather you
That's my-
emailed him than Twitter him.
That's my official Badger email address for doing these video things.
So I have a question for you two. I know you guys are super busy and everything, but with the lockdown, are there any shows you guys are watching together that you're just, like binging on or anything?
Westworld.
The new season?
Yep.
We haven't seen the latest episode though, so don't ruin it.
Oh shit, my TV's gonna switch off because I haven't done anything. There we go.
I want to wait until the season is over so I can just watch them like all at once.
Yes.
I don't like having to wait in between.
Stay off of Reddit.
Yeah,
Stay off
no,
of
I don't do the Reddit thing.
Yeah, fun for me though is the conspiracy theories all throughout. You know, in the subreddit when everybody's trying to figure out the pieces. Like I love that.
Yeah.
No,
I
Westworld
was
was very, very good. I'm doing the same as Mom. I'm waiting until it's finished and then I'm gonna stint it.
When Star Wars came out, because my son and I are big Star Wars fans, even though obviously disappointing, but we it took us, I think, 3 or 4 days to be able to go because we wanted to. We had to wait, and because his best friend always comes to the Star Wars movies with us, and that was when he could come. So it was 3 days since it opened to when we went. I went on Twitter like once and I fucking found out about Kylo and I was like, God damn it! Like nobody can shut up about stuff. So
yeah, someone told
The Mandalorian.
what was that?
Have you guys seen The Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
She did TV time
one of my
last week.
TV time episodes I did on The Mandalorian, and my son came on and talked about it with me. So
Of all of the new Star Warses, I think that The Mandalorian is the only one that I've really liked since the
Mute myself.
yeah, poor Basher. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's mostly separate from the rest of the universe. So they're not trying to like shoehorn shit into the show just to make references to the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I have strong opinion.
Badger has. Yeah.
Badger hates Disney. Badger wishes Disney was dead.
I
Badger
had my hand over my mouth, so I didn't comment to get him started.
Man, I've been trying to hold in my conversation about the dark saber, but we'll not.
Don't start.
I am a massive pre-Disney Star Wars fan, but I'm not a post-Disney Star Wars fan. But I do enjoy The Mandalorian.
I will say, Badger, I am on the same page as you. So there's no need to argue your point here. I concur.
That's good because I've done it a lot recently, and the last time I did it, I got so sort of into it that I made myself sad.
He did. I have like as much as I dislike the newer movies. I think it's just because like it's really the biggest thing in my kid's life has been for the longest time. He is an encyclopedia of knowledge of Star Wars knowledge. Is fucking ridiculous. So because of his connection to it, we still like watching the movies and we're excited. Even though we knew we were going to be disappointed, we were excited to watch it. It just the emotional connection to it. So
I was excited, but I think that what the newer Star Wars movies are doing for me is it's making me feel like maybe Star Wars wasn't very good to begin with, and I just like because the new ones, they're taking so many references to the old stuff to try to play off of nostalgia, kind of the hopeless battle of the one, X-Wing coming into some impossible situation, or the situations of the Millennium Falcon turning sideways to squeeze through. There's so many just tiny little tropes that are just sprinkled throughout all the new ones.
My earring?
Yeah. To try to capitalize off of the nostalgia of this last generation, but they're still making the movies to appeal to children, to get the all the dollars from the toy buyers. And so I'm watching all of the newer Star Wars movies, which are geared towards kids, and they're taking the formula of the old Star Wars and trying to juxtapose the two. And so it's making me feel like, well, am I just like remembering the old ones fondly because of nostalgia, because I grew up on them, because I'm a kid, or were they genuinely actually good movies? And it's
not that good.
There's a thing with that, which is that you can't just go, look at this thing you remember again and again and again. No, and that doesn't prove the original thing was bad. It just proves that doing the same thing,
it wasn't bad.
Just
it was
throwing the same thing at you again is bad.
But it wasn't that good.
Dave, I will come round to your house and knock him in.
I think one of the things that the newer movies do is make people appreciate the prequels a little bit, which is a horrible thing to say, but it's kind of true. So.
I don't know, the prequels, especially Phantom Menace. I like when it first came out. When Phantom Menace first came out, I'm gonna reveal my age here, but I think
you're gonna reveal your age. Is that? Did you just say that?
Like, I'm gonna reveal that, like, how young I am.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Oh, I thought you. Okay.
What year did Phantom Menace?
99.
99. Okay, so I was 9 years old.
Fuck me. Okay.
And I just turned 30, but when I was a kid watching that movie, and I'd watched all the other Star Wars movies before since I was like 3, and I loved Star Wars, and then Phantom Menace came out, and I remember as a 9-year-old kid even watching Phantom Menace and being like, I enjoy this, like the fight scenes and the action. And then like I went back years later, and I watched it, and I was like, "Fuck me!" Like this is objectively bad, like objectively horrible. And I
can still go back and watch The Phantom Menace and enjoy it.
My blood sugar's getting low, so I'm probably gonna duck out.
Yeah, we'll be rounding
I
up.
cannot survive on cookies alone, sir. I'm sorry.
If you can give it another 10-15 minutes, Eric, I was
Cookies
planning on
and
rounding
Monster.
up anyway. Another 10-15 minutes. We'll round up anyway. Dave, have you got a mad random question for Eric from one of your streams? Because we know how much he loves them.
Me.
Well, do the thing you want. Would you rather be immune to STDs or have free Kit Kats for life?
Kit Kats, you said?
Yes.
The immune to STDs. I don't even really like Kit Kats.
Yeah, that's what I said. Why didn't you pick a fucking better chocolate?
That's like asking, are Kit Kats better than sex?
Right?
No, they're
All
not.
right, I'm going to change the question to your favorite chocolate.
Like unlimited of my I would get sick of it.
Wow. Okay.
Like I think I like if I had just one kind of chocolate and I just had tons and tons unlimited. Like to put it in perspective, a while back I had I camped out outside of a frozen yogurt place that was opening all night,
Really?
and it was like the first 50 people in the building got free frozen yogurt for the year. By the end of that year, I was sick of that frozen yogurt place. And I had a year or two where I just didn't eat. I'm fine eating it now, but like for a while I was just like, it was too much. And the same with the Chinese restaurant, I did the same thing. They had a 50-year anniversary. First 50 people inside got free all-you-can-eat Chinese food for like.
You
a
really
year.
love free food,
Holy
don't you,
shit.
Thomas?
Oh yeah, this was in college, man. You'd search for any way you can get free
Oh
stuff.
no, I can get that if you're in college, yeah.
And
Eat plums.
I got so sick of Chinese food, especially from that place. So I think chocolate would be the same.
So
They say that about people who work at Cadbury's. You know, like, where the Cadbury's employees in the UK get free chocolate. You can have as much chocolate as you want.
Yeah.
And they say everyone gets in there, they think it's fantastic. It lasts about 2 or 3 weeks.
I think it's the
Guess
same
they
with
don't
like
make
Ben and
too much
Jerry's
of a
ice
loss
cream.
on that, then.
What
think
is
it's the
your
same with
favorite
Ben and Jerry's
chocolate, Thomas?
but wait, did you say Cadbury?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, Cadbury cream eggs. I can eat those until from sun up to sundown every day,
I still have an emergency supply of them.
as you should.
Of course, this is coming from the guy who takes Nutella in a cup and just spoon eats.
There is nothing wrong with that at all.
Right. Hold on. Can we get a
It's
show
not
of hands?
meal.
Show of hands, people.
Nutella is not a meal.
Is Nutella food?
Okay,
Yes or
I'm
no?
just going to point this out. I don't like
Really?
Nutella, but
Absolutely.
every single morning my wee girl has Nutella on toast for her breakfast. Every
On
morning.
toast.
Is Nutella
Not
food?
just a
I'm
bowl
going
of
to say
Nutella.
yes.
No, not a bowl
I
of
can-
Nutella. She
no,
has a
Eric, I
slice
can do
of
the
bread.
Same thing and just spoon it right out. I can absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, she has a slice of bread with real unsalted Irish butter,
Fuck up.
and then she has Nutella.
I could, but I don't normally have just the Nutella just by itself. But I think if I was to, if I really was hungry and that was what I had, I would just eat that. And I'd be like, yep, this is awesome.
Yeah, it is, especially when you're stoned too. So just
Yeah.
Question, Thomas and Eric, would you have a banana sandwich on its own, or would you have a banana sandwich that contains peanut butter?
A banana sandwich on what?
On a banana sandwich, as in there's a banana on bread. Would you butter it with peanut butter?
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure.
They put peanut butter on.
Hey,
The Americans are
no.
weird. They do peanut butter and jam.
No, he
What's
didn't
wrong with
know
burger,
that a banana sandwich has fucking peanut butter on
Hold
it.
on, you
With
said that
butter
correctly.
And bananas
You
on
said
it?
that, no, you
Not
said that
butter.
incorrectly. I didn't know that Americans are silly and consider a peanut butter and banana sandwich a banana sandwich.
They put peanut butter on all their fucking sandwiches.
By the way, I just want it on record that it was not me that brought up Star Wars this time.
So
Right,
have you
what we'll
never
do is
heard-
we'll run round the room. We'll end the night.
Wait, Thomas
Hang on,
was
wait.
about to ask something. Shush.
have you never heard of a PBLT?
What the?
It's a peanut butter, lettuce, and tomato.
Dave laughed because Dave's heard of that, but in a totally sexual position thing.
All right. Whoever Natty in the live chat is, You are awesome. Yes, absolutely on all the things.
That wait, Natty just said that they're allergic to bananas.
No, the Nutella, and also y'all were talking about sex, and that is like, it's. I mean, how hard is it to avoid STDs? How much sex do you have of getting the Kit Kats? Y'all just move past it, and I'm sitting there thinking.
All I'm thinking is put your.
Look, I'm not going to shame you. I mean, if you've done like the cost benefit analysis, but I think I might go for the Kit Kats.
How about this, Eric? How about you've Kit Kats in one hand and no STDs in the other, and then you put your hands together.
But here's the thing. Here's the
Make a
thing.
sandwich
Kit Kats then.
with peanut butter. What's up?
Here's the thing. Whether you're in an open relationship, whether you're single and seeing people, whether you're swingers, whether like whatever, or whether just your partner cheated on you and caught something and then gave it to you, like there's so many different scenarios over the course of a lifetime where you could be susceptible to catching something. Now, most STDs have some type of treatment or cure or something like that. Some of them don't. And, or some of them, they don't have a cure, but they have treatments and stuff. But the point is, for $500, you can get more Kit Kats than you could ever eat in your lifetime.
That is a lie, sir.
Yep.
Yes, that is a lie.
$1,000 worth of Kit Kats.
Do you want to keep going down this road? Because I mean, I
Like,
will.
my point is,
like,
you can get a lot of like buy
I will
them in
become
bulk.
more
Not-
shameful,
I'm not
but-
talking about like a Walmart individual selling by the single. I'm talking like you go to Costco and you just buy like a pallet of Kit Kats, and then
Okay.
you get another pallet, and then you get $500 worth of pallets of Kit Kats.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
but you're talking
Right, well,
about
Thomas, so, okay,
lifetime
okay,
supply.
right.
That's-
Go ahead, Mama. Say your thing, and
I
then
would
I'll say
rather
mine.
spend $500 on the Kit Kats and never, ever, ever have to worry about anything messing with my dick in a way that I don't want it to.
Well, going down
but
the
like-
same route as sexually transmitted disease and Kit Kats and Dave's questions, which puppet do you think is the sexiest?
Oh no.
Which
That was a
puppet?
question today. That was a question today on Dave's stream. Which puppet do you think is the sexiest?
Don't get on to the one with the fish fingers.
It's
Like any
Puppet
puppet.
Angel from Angel, by the way. That is the answer.
See, Thomas's face says it all. What the fuck sort of question show is this?
The only puppets that come to my mind, because I don't really watch a lot
Oh,
lot of Puppet shows, are the
Sesame
Muppets.
Street and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem I had as well.
You guys never watched Buffy and Angel?
So I watched Buffy, but Angel kind of sucked.
Buffy the
Oh,
Vampire Slayer?
would be, sir.
Oh, my boy.
Went downhill pretty quick.
You know that my son's name is Angelus, actually.
So I feel like
cool.
either I go with
Angel
the
was in
Muppets.
Buffy, and that was great.
Which Muppet?
Well, either I go with the Muppets, and then it's like a bestiality thing because they're all animals, or well, except for the three old guys that sing or whatever.
Hmm?
The
For
old
the
guy.
critics.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
critics.
completely old
The
ones.
Swedish chef has sexy
It wasn't
hands.
half bad. Wasn't half good either.
Dave
It's like,
refused.
Pinocchio, and then that's like pedophilia.
Dave refused to read my comment in the live chat. Dave, you remember the comment I made about which your favorite puppets would be?
Dave, do you think he does?
No, I don't remember.
No, of course you don't remember. Go on, Mama. Tell everybody what Dave's favorite two puppets are.
But who Dave's favorite two puppets are?
It's a
Ahmed
Bert and
the
Ernie
Big Carrot.
sandwich with Dave in the middle.
What?
No, nobody picked Ahmed. Nobody wanted anything to do with that. So
You were all up for the
Yeah.
Cookie Monster because you were all, Jesus, that man eats cookies like mad.
I just blanked that earlier because I didn't want to deal with it.
So if you're sexually attracted, oh, this is about to get really dirty.
Yes,
Oh man, it's
I
the
was just
pigsty.
thinking
Go
that.
mad.
Can I how family friendly are you wanting your show to be?
Every single one of my
So
videos are
demonetized.
demonetized if they would be monetized. Okay, go for
It
it.
is
Yeah,
literally
go for
1:30
it.
in the morning over here.
So if you are sexually attracted
To the Cookie Monster.
no, not the Cookie Monster, to Oscar the Grouch, does that mean that he is a literal cum dumpster?
Oh, we,
Okay.
That is after Eric, folks.
we shouldn't get on to the other question. What was it again? Would you rather have bananas for fingers or fish fingers for toes.
You're welcome.
Hi, Eric. Sorry we ran you off. But that was your roommate, not us this time.
Atheist Avengers unite.
They said it was your roommate, not us this time.
Oh, we broke poor Eric again. Eric's just not used to this.
See, I don't have a filter.
I definitely think you should come on the question show, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should probably play Quiplash with us sometime, too. I think you would
that sounds
fit in well with us.
Oh yeah, Quiplash gets pretty much full blown out of control.
Smut.
Yeah.
Smut's not even the word. Like it's right. Anybody got any questions for our guest of honor tonight? Anybody got any more? One last questions.
Honor.
Honor.
Honor. No, generally, man. In all honesty, I really appreciate you coming on a very small channel like this. If you were going to consider percentages, consider to what you have to what I have. No, really appreciate you coming on, man.
You're a rounding error.
I'm a rounding error. That's exactly what it is, man. You know, office space. That's what I am.
Well, it seems like you guys have a lot of fun, so.
Well, that's the main thing. We try to do have a lot of fun because at the end of the day, camaraderie and banter and what we call over here in Ireland, that's crack, not the white powder, and spelled completely different. It's good fun. So we'll work around the room. Mama, you're next. You're first in the list. Oh, okay, you're last in the list. Thomas, let everybody know who you are and where we can find you.
I am Thomas Westbrook. I have a channel called Holy Koolaid, and I debunk all kinds of pseudoscience and stuff. You can find all my work at holykoolaid.com, at Holy Koolaid on Twitter, /Holy Koolaid on Facebook, and the Holy Koolaid YouTube channel are the biggest places. And I also organize a conference every year called the Faithless Forum in Austin, Texas, and it brings the atheists and skeptic and humanist YouTubers together.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Working around
And
the
that
room.
actually-
The next one is Badger.
Real quick.
Wait, he wasn't done. Shush.
Sorry, the conference, because of coronavirus, we had to postpone it this year, but it will be back in 2021. If all things go smoothly and the pandemic is no longer in full swing, it should be next year in June. So yeah.
Thank you for that, Thomas.
Perfect.
A lot of people are disappointed.
A lot of people are in that, yes. DaveCon, I got my refund for DaveCon. That was our little UK version. David Worley decided to do something similar. I'm sure you've heard of that. And all of us here that were in the UK versions, me and Dave especially, me and Dave would even organise this fucking share house place thing. Oh, we were going to share. No, we're not going to share a room. That's the fan fiction. Anyway, Badger.
Pretty much all the conferences have been having to cancel. American Atheist just did. I think Skeptical just canceled. When I say cancel, we're rescheduling to next year. But
I have a slightly controversial question. Just to annoy me. Why?
Oh, Dave, sorry. Did I slip? Sorry, button slip.
Why did you take so long to cancel?
Why did we take so long to cancel?
Yeah.
Well, the conference actually wasn't for another 2 months. And so when the coronavirus really started hitting Texas, it was kind of mid to late March when things started locking down. And we thought, okay, so it's March. We don't know how bad this is going to get. And so we waited a couple weeks to see if things would improve, if with the warmer weather, the warmer months, if this would be like the flu, or if it would continue to get out of control. And as the CDC and the FDA and the NIH and WHO and stuff, we're all saying like, this is growing, this is getting worse, this is exponential growth, everyone's staying inside in quarantine. South by Southwest got canceled. Then at that point we're like, okay, we need to do something, but we wanted to make sure that we had all of our attendees taken care of, and we wanted to make sure that all of our attendees were able to get full refunds on their hotel rooms without any cancellation fees. So we were talking with the hotel and sorting out details, and as soon as we got that locked into place, then we announced that we gave people about 2 months before the event, and we said it's going to be a year and 2 months from now in June around the same time. And our priority from the beginning has been the safety of everyone attending.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is it safe to ask Badger what he's doing next before Mama shouts at me? Badger, what have you
I
got
go-
coming up?
All right. Hello, I am Bad Tempered Badger. I talk about stuff on the internet sometimes, and I have an absolutely minuscule YouTube channel.
And you think
can find
Disney
me on
should die?
YouTube. Say it again.
And you think Disney should die?
Oh yeah, and there's that. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, BitChute, Gab, Minds, and Pornhub. I talk. Sometimes I do atheism and religion topics. Sometimes I do current events or whatever the hell's on my mind at the time. I also do story readings and stuff like that. I have a story reading coming out at some point soon, featuring a certain well-known punching bag of the atheist community.
Wonderful. Dave, have
It's
you
kind
anything
of-
to say about your Thomas? Go
Can I
ahead.
ask Badger, is his Pornhub profile, is it puppet porn?
Does that... It could be. It might be after the stream.
He refuses to give us a link.
Well, there's actually nothing on it at the moment. I don't think it actually has.
Hey,
a
don't say that about your
link.
guy.
I just made the account so that I could say that.
Oh, brilliant. Dave, what about yourself? Have you anything happening on your channel daily at 1:10
I have 2 episodes of Critical Questions tomorrow.
Do you?
I do. I have the normal episode, and then I have a speed episode in the evening.
See, this is the thing to give Thomas context. As we were explaining earlier, we do tangents, and sometimes one question can take up like a half an hour of the hour-long show. And one of the people that we would hang about with and friends in our community is like, I could answer 100 questions in a fucking hour. You take far too long. So tomorrow night, this woman is going up against Dave for 100 questions in an hour. She's determined to do them all.
Also, the questions in an hour thing. One question can take like half an hour, and the hour usually goes for 3 hours or something.
It varies.
It varies. I've got Jenna Belk coming next Tuesday, or this Tuesday. I don't know what date it is. We've lost track of the days because we're all in fucking quarantine. But Jenna Belk's coming up. We have a few other people coming up on the channel. And yeah, everything's going good well here. Good well. Yeah, time to end. So,
It's going
everybody,
yes.
thank you very much for coming. Thomas, really do appreciate you coming on and giving us your time, man. Definitely. And we'll oink and we'll out. And thanks everybody for coming.
Take care. Thanks for having me on.
Bye.